Now, let's welcome to the stage the master of influence, my mentor, my partner, and my friend, Mr. Dave VanHoose. On our feet!
Yes. All right. Thank you, my friend. All right. You guys ready to have some fun? How many of you are liking this? If you are, say yes. Awesome. Well, before I begin and share with you absolutely incredible techniques and strategies that's going to absolutely blow your mind, this is what I call the forbidden secrets to mass persuasion. It's actually a book I wrote, How to Sell Anything to Anybody at Any Time. In fact, I'll tell you a bunch of really cool stories here during the next couple days. But I want to share with you one quick thing. Because sometimes, I hear sometimes the resistance, or there's resistance when it comes to persuading and motivating and inspiring. And I know some of us have an internal conflict when it comes to selling. And I did too. I absolutely agree with you. And I want to share a story with you. So you got to understand, as a therapist, I would work with patients, and I actually made a commitment. I made a what? Commitment that I would serve my patients. I would show up every day at the hospital or the outpatient therapy clinic or during the football season and work with my athletes. And in my mind, I had this 100% success rate. No matter what the doctor said, that they weren't going to be able to get on the field or their career was over with, I said, we're not taking that suggestion, period. And that was who I was as a therapist. And so when I got into this speaking business, and I started to question, maybe this industry isn't for me. And because I started to see the success rate, people would come to my seminars, and I'd teach and teach and teach, and people wouldn't do anything. And it used to bother me so bad. Like, these people, why are they not taking the information and changing their life? I didn't get it. And so I was thinking, maybe this isn't a career for me. This doesn't feel right to me. So I'm contemplating that in my mind. So I want to share this with you. So I was doing an event, and what's interesting, it was right here in Tampa at the Board of Realtors Office Association. And there was probably maybe a couple hundred realtors that came to hear my presentation. And some regular people that came. And so I did my presentation using this presentation blueprint that I shared with you. And at the end, I said, everybody get up right now and go to that back table. And the people came and they ran back. And there was a time, this gentleman came back and he came to me, and obviously I read body language and I can understand what people are thinking. And he comes to me and he's excited. He says, Dave, me want foreclosures daily. And me move to this country. And so I give him the paper, and he's shaking, and I can see he's excited. And he explains to me, he says, Mr. VanHoose, I don't have a credit card to pay for your real estate course, but can I give you cash? I'm like, okay. And he says, I'm going to give you my last $1,000. And I stopped for a moment. And what's interesting is I made a decision for him. I said, no, maybe this isn't right for you at this time right now. My mind calculated, well, he just moved to this country, doesn't speak English, doesn't know anybody, doesn't have any money, and he's probably going to be like the rest of the folks that sign up, a majority didn't do nothing. So I said, no. He said, no, me move to this country, me want to become real estate millionaire. And he forced to sign up. Man, I went home that night, and I'm like, and I said, I don't know if this business is for me. This is not my goal and intention in life, to be in service of working with patients. And I don't know if I really like this speaking business. So back then, I used to have this game. When people would sign up, who became the millionaire and who didn't? And I was trying to figure out why. What made some people successful in real estate and most not. Like, why? I couldn't get it. And I went on a whole journey for last 10 years of my life studying every personal development, every philosophy, everything to understand why. I know why now. And so I called my dad a couple months after that, and I'm reading a book by one of my friends, Brian Tracy, a sales book. And I said, Dad, because my dad worked for my company, and I said, Dad, whatever happened to that guy, Jose? He says, oh my gosh, Dave, he took the foreclosure system, went out, did like 4 deals, it made like $350,000. And I'm reading this book, it says, who are you to be God to determine who can and can't make it in this world? And it hit me, that moment. These people are coming to your workshops. They're coming to your webinars. They're looking to have a better relationship, financial freedom. They're looking to get out of their jobs and turn happy back. It's our job to get them out of fear, get them out of doubt, so they can make a decision to change their life. Making sense? So I want a crusade. And I read another book, The Science of Getting Rich. Does anybody know that book? Who's the author? That's right. And in that book, he talked about the best thing you can ever do is if you have a fight against poverty, you create more poverty. It said the best thing you can do is get someone to believe it's possible for them to talk about abundance and freedom. And it hit me. If I could just inspire one person to believe it was possible for them to get out of the rat race, possible for them to live their dreams, possible for them to step into their greatness. And I went on a crusade. And I said, I'm going to change thousands of people from getting out of their JOBs, which to me is prison. I used to say, can you believe a grown person, if they have a death in a family or their kids might be doing something at school, they got to go ask their boss, boss, can I please leave this jail cell to go support my family? And please, you give me 2 weeks of vacation. What the heck? Better being in jail, right? That's my belief. I saw my grandpa work 42 years in a factory, 12 hours a day. To me, that was my belief. So, my friends, you can't change anybody's life in 90 minutes. You can change their life if they take an action, if they enroll. Because think about this. If they were going to buy and sell foreclosures, if they didn't get a system, a coach, a process, they would probably hurt the people that were struggling in foreclosure, hurt the banks, and hurt themselves, and not understand that real estate cycles all the time and go broke. Making sense? So we're here. I hear this all the time. People that teach sales, they say something like A, B, C. What does that stand for in sales, you see? I want to change that to ABH or ABS. Always be serving and helping. Making sense? So I'm not going to teach you to sell and close. I'm going to teach you inspire the people to take a better life. Making sense? Yes. Because if you have something that you know is going to change people's lives, closing to me sounds like stopping. But when people invest, do they stop or they start a new journey? Right? So I want us to know that we're not selling, we're serving by getting people to take action. Making sense? So when you switch that energy and the intention, I'm not here to close, I'm here to serve. I'm here to make a stand for people because I know they're going through fear, doubt, anxiety. They've been programmed to live in their comfort zone. So as a speaker, I want you to be their trusted coach and advisor to challenge them. Do you see the energy change? So I want you to understand that when I talk about what we're doing, it's because we're doing it to help people. Making sense? This is why I will not have big rooms of 500 speakers and coaches and people here, because that's what I don't want to be a part of people who are selling things that they don't build value and they don't come from the right intention. I'm not interested, because what I'm about to share with you in a moment can actually change people's lives, or to the wrong hands, hurt people. Making sense? So I'm very, very cautious of who comes to these events, because I'm very cautious. I don't want this information. However, over the years, I've seen not hundreds, not thousands, millions of lives have changed. Millions and millions of lives. So I want to teach you how you can be the most amazing speaker, what I call presentainer speaker. Making sense? Did you guys like my presentation blueprint? You did say yes? All right. So let's talk a little bit about the delivery. Now, before I do that, I want to talk to you about what I'm trying to teach you. I'm not teaching you to be a pushy salesman and force people, put pressure. What I want to share with you is a better way to take people down a path where you help them originate or discover the truth. Making sense? Yes. You guys want to do a quick little example? So I want to share with you how powerful these techniques can be, and watch how there's no resistance. In fact, I'm going to sell you on a concept I want you to believe in and think, and I'm going to sell it to you, and I'm not going to push you, I'm not going to force you. Okay? So who wants to play a game? You guys want to play a game and have some fun? All right, so here's what we're going to do. I want you to pick a number between 1 and 10, and here's what I want you to do. I want you to keep it a secret. Keep it a what? Secret. So pick a number right now in your mind. You can write it down. I just put it in your mind, so get a number. Okay, does everybody follow me? Does everybody have a number? Say yes? Yes. Okay. Now, with that number, I want you to multiply it by 9. I want to see how good you guys follow directions and listen to me. So we're going to multiply it by what? 9. Okay, good. Now, you should have a number. Then what I want you to do, if your number has 2 digits, how many digits? 2 digits. I want you to add them together. Okay? Okay. Now, what I want you to do next is I want you to subtract 5 from this number. Okay, you guys, you got it? She's got her number. Everybody, yes? If you got it, just nod your head. Yes, Dave. Okay, good. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to equal the results of it to a letter. So if your number was 1, make it an A. If your number was 2, make it a B. And 3, make it a what? Okay, make it a letter. So now, I want you to think of a country that begins with that letter. Okay? Then I want you to think of an animal that begins with the second letter of that one. Okay, the second letter. Begin an animal. So now you should have a country and an animal. And I want to ask this question. How many of you have an elephant in Denmark? Let me see you guys. Put them nice and high. Say yes. Yes. All right. So the rest of you listen very well. Very nice, huh? So now, can we use techniques in ways to get people to believe and change their life? Do you see that example? If you do, say yes. Did I have to force people or push people into a sale and do a pushy salesman? No. This is what I think is a more elegant, easier way to communicate. And this is what we're going to talk about in the triangle up here, which is the delivery. Because I showed you how to write a presentation, now it's about how do you deliver it, Dave? Now, I'm going to teach you a crash course, which we teach at Presentainer. There's 2 parts of the brain. Okay? We've got the conscious and the subconscious. Write this down. All buying decisions are based on emotions, backed by logic. What part of the mind is the emotional mind? Is it the conscious or the subconscious? The subconscious, right? So as a communicator, what we want to do is communicate to the subconscious. This is where memories, emotions, changing people's lives, helping them make decisions is in the subconscious. So I teach what they call subconscious communication. Making sense so far? So we're going to talk about delivery in the triangle, which is called presentainer technology that I copyrighted and created. And we're going to talk a little bit about marketing. So I'm going to teach you what I call the Pied Piper of close. This is how you get people to dance with you to the back of the room. Now, obviously, I'm going to teach you way over here, because after you get people to run back with you and change their life and invest, if you just need to inspire people or get people to opt in for your list, you can come over here and it's easier. Making sense? If you can do this one, keynoting, and this is easy. Making sense? So I'm going to teach you how to do the Pied Piper. Who would be interested in learning this? Let me see your hands. Absolutely. So I'm going to give you an example. And I want you to write this word down, flexible. I see a lot of people who are rigid. I see a lot of people who are not open to possibility. So I want to give you an example. One of my clients called me up. And he says, "Hey, Dave, would you like to come speak in St. Pete?" I said, "Well, great. My office is in St. Pete." He said, "No, St. Petersburg, Russia." I said, "Oh, okay." I didn't even know it really was in St. Pete, Russia, but okay. It's by Moscow. And I said, "This sounds pretty cool. I've never been to Russia. I think it'd be pretty cool to go, right?" But I'm somewhat retired, so I pick and choose which events I want to go to. And I also go with love. If I'm intuitive, feel like that I need to be there to inspire, then I go too. So I said, "How many people are going to be there?" He says, "About 1,000 people." But then I said, "Well, wait a minute. I don't speak Russian, right? I don't even have a Russian product, right?" I said, "No problem. When do I need to speak?" He says, "Well, it's next week." No problem. Booked my flight, flew to Russia, and I want to show you something. Right here is me speaking. Here's the translator. I actually created a 1-2 system of how to communicate. Now, here's what I want you to get. I pre-sold my product. I pre-what? Pre-sold it. Because guess what? I didn't have it. So guess what I pre-sold? I pre-sold a boot camp. I pre-sold sometimes 3 calls or 3 modules online. Making sense? So here, I'm pre-selling, hey, for those of you who want to learn more, I'm going to do a 3-day boot camp, and it's X price. Right? Because I didn't have a Russian product and didn't have time to get a ghostwriter to build it for me. Do you guys know that you can have ghostwriters build your whole product for you? Like this? Done. Very easy. Cool thing today is there's somebody that does everything in this industry. You just write a check, box, done. Want to have a best-selling book in Barnes & Noble? New York one? Done. Got the person that could do that. That's what's cool about today. There's somebody that does everything. So I want you to watch very closely of me presenting people. You guys want to see a close? I see a mad rush. Watch these people run back. Actually, they don't run. Watch them dance. You guys ready for this? Here we go. $450,000 US on paper later. Would that work for you? Did I have a nice little trip in Russia? Yeah. Did I serve some people? Absolutely. I changed their lives too at that boot camp. Now, imagine that. You could just go speak 1 or 2 times a year at a cool place and be done. Making sense? So what I want to do is I'm going to focus on our triangle that we talked about, the 3 steps. Remember? Got to have a presentation, you need to know how to deliver it, and then marketing. Okay? So what you're about to discover in a moment, I'm going to teach you and share with you of how do you get people to dance to the back of the room? How does that do that? I'm going to share with you what my presentator delivery techniques, give you a small glimpse at that. I'm also going to talk to you about my forbidden secrets, my new technology that I created, called NEEP patterns that I've copyrighted. In fact, what I'm going to share with you is not how to become a presenter, but a professor, but a presentator, right? So Oprah, does Oprah teach or entertain? Richard Branson, billionaire, does he teach or does he entertain? Tony Robbins, does he teach and entertain? Absolutely. So, write this down. Speaking is a learned skill set. Now, Dave, what the heck is presentator? What does that mean? What a presentator to me is somebody who can emotionally move and connect with the audience and never forget you. Okay, let me give you an example. Typically, statistics, they say, if you're a teacher and you teach something to somebody, they say after the presentation, the people might have retained 4% of what you taught them. Did you know that? The retention level goes down that much. So if you teach something to somebody, probably in high school for me, I probably had 0.5%, who knows? Right? So teaching, people don't really retain very much statistically. Now, I'm going to give you an example. How many of you know where you were at February 3rd, 2010? So remember what they were wearing, where they were at, what emotion they were feeling? Does anybody have an idea? No, right? Now, if I told you, do you remember where you were at 9/11? I remember. I go back to that moment. I was in the gym, working out. I go to the gym every morning, watching ESPN, another TV over here. I was in a treadmill, and bam, I saw a building and a plane hit it. And I'll never forget that second when I was there, I knew where I was, what I had on, and everything. So how did I remember that one, but not the other one? Right? In fact, I want to give you a quick story. Imagine this. Picture this. I was speaking at Dan Kennedy's a couple years ago. And what happens for me, obviously, when I get a speaking gig and I speak, I better be the best speaker on that whole conference or I'm in trouble, right? Right? If I'm teaching all the speakers, I better be the best one. So there's always a little bit of, let's just call it a little bit of pressure put on me. So I'm speaking at Dan Kennedy's. Now, typically, to be honest with most of you, I'm retired. I only speak once in a while just to keep, the axe sharp. So I go there, and I'm doing my presentation, and I tell my story using these techniques that I'm going to share with you and teach you in a moment. And as I'm speaking, the audience was hanging on to every word. And I emotionally moved them. And at the end, I said, everybody get up right now and go to that back table. And typically, when I go to these conferences and I speak, not 10%, not 20%, but 50% run back, which is huge statistics. In fact, typically, when I speak, if there's like 10 speakers, they can add up all 10 speakers' sales, and I outsold all 10. That's typically numbers. So any of you have a sales team, usually one sales guy outsells the whole team. How did you guys know that? That's Pareto's principle. So they asked me to come back. I'm in the hallway with some jeans on, and this guy comes up to me and goes, "Oh my gosh, Dave, I know who you are." I'm like, "Me? Who am I?" Like, right, He says, "You're that speaker." I'm like, "Yeah?" He says, "I watched you a year ago out of the 20,000 speakers they had at this conference. I will never forget you and your story. Really? He says, it's in my mind. I've been thinking about you. I will never forget you. So I sat down with him because I'm always about learning and improving. I'm always a speaker improving. So I sat down with him, talked to him for a little bit, learned a little about what he's up to, and get this. I said, you know what? You need my help. I said, give me $50,000. Guess what? He did. So I'm giving this to you as a lesson. Imagine being able to present and speak so well that people never forget you and your brand and your product. That's the level that I want to teach you to become. This is a completely another level than you've ever considered. Meaning, what I'm here to share with you is this. Is typically, if we take a graph, let's just call this your skill set as a speaker. Okay? We've got time plus experience, and I'm going to put plus training. And the longer you have in time and the more experience, the better you'll become. Correct? Right? The better your skill comes, the more you practice, the more you train, and the more you get better, right? Now, people think this is the plateau. I'm here to suggest there's a whole nother level up here you haven't even considered. Making sense? So I want to take you to another level of speaking. In fact, typically when I see speakers, I'll ask the question from 0 to 10 as how good you are as a speaker, where you're at. They might say, Dave, I'm a 9, After they see me speak, they go, I'm a 2. Yeah, it's pretty funny. So I want to teach you this. Now, what can bypass, like I did 3,000 presentations in 10 years, is training. I can shortcut all this within 4 days. Take 10 years off your learning curve. Who would be interested in taking 10 years off the learning curve, right? So let's talk about how did I do that? Making sense? So let's talk a little bit. Now, as I'm teaching you, I'm going to be doing it and showing it as I'm doing it. Making sense? Makes it more fun, and we get to do it. So now, my promise is by the end of this presentation, you'll know more about speaking and presenting than 99% of most speakers. You have an unfair advantage. They won't even be able to compete with you. I promise you that, and you'll see in a moment. There's a lot of common myths that I hear. I said, well, Dave, my industry's different. I work with bankers, lawyers. I work with this, that, and the other. It's just a story you tell yourself to stop you from your greatness. I hear it all the time. Well, Dave, I don't want to be like you. Don't. I'm not telling you to be like me. I'm giving you the techniques. I'm showing you the mechanics of throwing a football. You still have to be the football person, right? It's like music, right? There's systems and mechanics of how to play the piano or play. You are still the artist. Making sense? I'm just giving you the mechanics. You still get to be who you are. Making sense? So a lot of people get confused. Well, Dave, I don't want to be a robot. I don't want to be like you. Don't, please. Be you. Connect to your heart, connect to your soul, and share your message. However, you have to have mechanics, right? How many of you ever played music before? How many know anybody plays music, right? It's the mechanics plus connecting to your soul and your higher self and your heart to get the music to come out beautifully. Is that making sense? So, I'm going to give you a quick example. Does anybody know who Dan Kennedy and Bill Glazer is by any chance? Oh, most of you do. So this is Mara Glazer. Mara, very, 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 very shy. Right, Michelle? Very shy. She is behind the computer, very shy. Very shy person. Very smart. It's typically, if you're a speaker, you're the influencer. If you take the disc personality, you're the eye or the star. You want to be that. So those type of people, when they take this technology, man, they're Superman. They have superpowers. Some people, like Tamor said, are the marketer. They're kind of the Dustin. If you knew, like Steve said, if you knew who Dustin was before, you wouldn't believe. He would not get up here and he might do this. Right? But you see how he's taking these techniques and he's communicating very effectively. How many of you agree with that? Absolutely. So Mara, she came to me and I wrote her a presentation. And she actually spoke in what, Miami? Were you there, Michelle, when she spoke? No? Okay. But I want you to get this because her father said to her, don't go to Dave. He's going to teach you to be like Dave. She actually did it anyway, and here's what she has to say about it.
Hey there, Mara Glazer here, Cut the Crap Business Coach, and I wanted to film this short video message to share with you some of my experiences working with my buddies Dave VanHoose and Dustin Matthews at the 7-figure Speaking Empire. So earlier this year, I decided that one of my big goals was going to be to become an amazing speaker. And I'm not just talking about a speaker that gets the crowd excited. I'm talking about a speaker that can convert and that can sell from the stage. And in that process, I really kept in mind something that I teach my own clients. When you want to become amazing at something, go out there and find somebody that has a proven track record of success doing what it is that you want to do, and then hire them to show you how to do it faster and in a way that's more successful than you could ever figure out how to do on your own. And that's what led me to Dave.
So long story short, here's what's really interesting. Here's what's really interesting is before she went to go speak and present, she called me. And she got nervous. I don't know if this is going to work, and the things that play in our minds. I gave her some techniques and strategies, obviously, and she got on stage and she just followed what I said. And it's amazing. People say to me all the time, Dave, I couldn't believe it. I was using your blueprint and I looked up and there's people at the back table. I said, yeah, everything was engineered correctly so that way, effortlessly and easily, you look up and they're already back. Right? Because everything is purposely done. Are you getting that? Okay, good. So your brain is like an iceberg. So we've got the conscious and the subconscious. What I'm about to share with you I call subconscious communication. Very, very powerful techniques. So let me ask the question. Why do people buy? Why do people buy? Do people buy what they need or what they want? People buy features or they buy benefits? Write this down. They buy the benefit of the benefit. Now, typically when you're speaking and selling or doing a webinar, that's the pink elephant in the room. Meaning that if you're doing a webinar, people are not stupid. They're like, they're sitting there going, they're going to try to sell us something. They're going to try to sell us something. And when you get to the end, you say, oh yeah, I got this coaching program. See? And they didn't buy. So a better strategy, write this down, is to be 100% transparent. Write this down. Speak the truth. So in my Foreclosures Daily presentation, Steve, you remember this, right away I came out of the presentation. And let me see, we'll have to see if you can pull up some of that old stuff on your computer. But I used to say something like this. I said, and play with me. By a show of hands, how many of you came here to make some more money in real estate? Put them up and say yes, Dave. Let me see your hands. Awesome. And by a show of hands, how many of you today wanted to learn how to buy and sell foreclosures? Let me see your hands. Awesome. And by a show of hands, how many of you here today think I might try to sell you something? Let me see your hands. Oh, that's it? Well, I'm not here to try to sell you something. I'm here to sell you something, I am. I'm here to sell you on buying and selling foreclosures. I'm here to sell you and having the amazing life that you deserve. I'm here to sell you on. And they laughed, and guess what? The resistance vanished. Are you following me on that? How many of you like that one? And would that work for you? And it comes more congruent, and it's the best way to do it. Most people beat around the bush. No. Hey, if you're a coach, consultant, or if you have a product or a software, let people know. Hey, I'm going to give you great, valuable information. Let me give you one more key strategy I learned. Very important. Very, very important. I learned it, and my spiritual teacher taught me to do this in life. Get rid of all expectations. Expectations leads to unfulfillment. Right? If you have an expectation to become a millionaire, you're not a millionaire, how do you feel? Right? Frustrated, angry. Right? The key is to have goals, but to have no expectations. So when you speak, too many people are like, Dave, how many did you just sell? How many did you just close? Those that are ready will appear. Those that don't, won't. I'm disconnected to the result. Making sense? Are you guys getting that? That takes the complete pressure off of you so that you can there motivate and serve. It's a big problem that a lot of speakers have. So the pink elephant room is people know you have an opportunity. In fact, Dustin talked a little bit about it before I got up here. How many of you think we might have an opportunity at the end of this presentation? Let me see your hands. All right. Well, in fact, what I want to share with you is our system, which we have, which is our complete system of really taking your business, walking you step by step, and not just teaching you it, holding your hand step by step so that we can kind of guarantee your results. In fact, what our program is absolutely incredible, because here's what I found out. I have this belief. If I teach you, you're not going to do it. So I better do it for you, right? So that being said, our training is much different. It's not you're going to learn information. No, we're going to do it for you and with you. How many of you like that concept better? So what we have is we have our 3 steps for success, which is step number 1 is we have what we call our group power day. This is where you come for 3 days with a handful of people, and we sit down, just like Dustin did. We pull out of you, what is your offer? What is your box? What is it specifically that inside you is your genius? Or if you have a software or something, we really make the offer better. We write the offer first. Then, mathematically, we build your complete presentation, your webinar presentation and your stage presentation. The slides, the graphics, put your story in there, completely build it out. And then at the end, you deliver it in front of the group to know and get feedback from the group so you're ready. Does everybody follow me on that? Then number 2 is delivery. We have what we call our presentainer, which is 4 days of acting school. Be transparent with you. It's 10 hours a day of me drilling all these techniques. It's amazing. It will change your life. Out of any course you've ever taken, this class will change your life more than any other course you can ever imagine. Period. It's designed that way. Why? Because I got to get you so powerful and confident and certain of who you are that on any stage, at any time, in any moment, you can instantly magnetize any room at any time. It is the most confident, certain training on planet Earth. Designed because guess what? Selling is rejection. If you don't have confidence and certainty of who you are, let me ask you this question. Are you selling a product or are you selling you? If you don't truly believe in you, how can you sell you? You can't. And every human being has the same program running. I'm not good enough. All of them, including myself, had that. So presentainer is to show you power. So much power, so much confidence and certainty. You can walk in any room at any time and be the magnetic person that God made you to be. Then I show you how to get on stage and show you this magnetism. this connection. And it's amazing. And it's acting school. We learn and you do it. It's very powerful. And then the last thing that we have is our marketing. Our marketing workshop is amazing, meaning you're not coming to learn marketing. No, you're writing your marketing there. You're writing your emails. You're building your funnels. You're writing your landing pages. So we write your presentation. I show you how to become a magnetic, and you have the marketing, and then you have it all. Let me tell you about a case study here. Her name is Coach Carla. Does anybody know Coach Carla, by the way? Coach Carla's got a great story. In fact, she actually called me last week. I'm actually going to be meeting her this week. Coach Carla, get this, was a female. Growing up, was 168 pounds overweight. And unfortunately, in our school systems, if you have something like this, the kids pick on you through her whole life, and she didn't feel good about herself. Didn't want to go to school, struggled, got into her 20s, decided to make a change. She lost 168 pounds. Imagine that. And she found beauty is from the inside out. So she had a purpose and a passion. She says, Dave, I want to work with young kids and females and people and show them how to have beauty from the inside out. How many of you believe beauty's from the inside out? Honestly, yeah, me too. So, problem is she had a passion, a purpose, no direction, no product, no release, no relationships. So I sat down with her. I said, no problem. So I took a look. She was actually in an MLM because she didn't have a product that she believed that this certain product would help people. So I said, okay, great. That's going to be our continuity. I helped him pull out of her what her 6 modules will be. So we helped her create her box. And we created a whole presentation in her offer in her box. Then she actually, get this, I looked at who her target market with. We connected her with some chiropractors. She would do weekend weight loss retreats at chiropractors' offices. And then she would do webinars. And get this, within 11 months, not even a year, Jenny Craig was so threatened by her, and she did so well, they wrote her a check, and now she never has to work again. In fact, I remember her talking to me. Her big why was, Dave, I want to serve in churches and work with women and kids. And today, what's interesting, it's amazing how the world works. I talked to her. I started my charity, and she works with all kinds of famous charities in California, and she's going to meet with me to talk about that. But this is what I'm talking about. 11 months later, she's done. Now, 100% service, 100% working with charities and helping the world make it a better place. My friends, it doesn't take long today to become financially free. Doesn't take long. How many of you like that? Is it? Absolutely. All right, let's talk about the 11 techniques. Number 1, write this down. We're going to talk about pacing and leading. Number 2, we're going to talk about the yes state. And we're going to have to cook. I got a lot to get through. So if I talk fast, I'm going to check in with you, and I'll say, are you getting this? Is this making sense? Just say yes, Dave, and let me know if you are. So we're talking about yes state, crowd control, expert factor. Number 5, we're going to talk about resistance. Number 6, we're going to talk about ROI. Number 7, planting seeds. We're going to talk about planting what? Seeds. Very powerful. Social proof. I'm going to show you an absolutely incredible way to get social proof, and I'm going to demonstrate it here. It'll be very powerful. Number 9, power of. Pause. Number 10, persuasion and influence. And number 11, time distortion. In fact, you're going to see time's going to fly by like that. Okay, let's get to work. If you didn't get them down, they'll come up on the slides. Let's talk about number 1, which is pacing and leading. Pacing and leading is a very powerful technique. And I'm going to do my best to try to explain these. But just know at the presentator, you actually drill them. It's kind of like this. If you teach somebody how to swim, until they actually get in the pool and swim, sometimes it's kind of hard for them to totally experience swimming. Okay, pacing and leading. Pacing and leading is like this. It's like when I would do my presentation, it was like I would be leading people, pacing and leading them. It's like they were hanging on to every word. What to me, pacing and leading is this. You've got the now, which is the present. We've got the past. And then we have the what? Future. So to me, what we're doing is a technique where we're pacing and leading people. We're taking them where they're at, and we're future pacing them. We're telling them in a second, in a moment, of what they're about to experience. And it's a great technique because what happens is now they'll be following along with you and listening closely. And if they're following along with you and you ask them to follow along with you to the back table and roll, will they do it? And what happens is it stimulates the subconscious, and emotionally during your presentation, they'll be an emotional high and be engaged. Okay? Did you get that? Okay. So pacing and leading is very powerful. Now, the next thing we talked about is introducing the yes state. Very important. Listen to me. Write this down. Small commitments equals the big commitment. And be fun to say yes to. Now, who wants me to share with you a ninja strategy? Anybody know a ninja strategy? Okay, here's what's going to happen. When you start the yes state, let's just take an example. Let's just say, I say, by a show of hands, really, how many of you are committed and ready to take your speaking business international? Let me see your hands, but I'm going to say yes. Okay, good. Now, what typically will happen when you start the yes state, half will say yes, half will do what? I'm not raising my hand, right? So just know that there's going to be a lack of response when you start. But write this down. The very first cell of the presentation is you got to get the audience to say yes. Can you see yourself doing that? And would that work for you? How many of you are liking this? Who wants more? Ah, there's 4 yeses. Okay, let's talk about crowd control. Now, crowd control is very important. In fact, have you ever seen some speakers get on stage and they can captivate the audience? And the audience will be so engaged you can hear a pin drop. Have you ever seen that before? Yes. Have you ever seen other speakers, maybe not you, that halfway through your presentation, they lost people? And this happens sometimes. Even for me, when I'm speaking, sometimes during the conversation, you can lose people. Now, we need to have a strategy. We need to have a what? Strategy. We need to control the audience. Very important. So I got 5 key strategies. Write these down. Number 1, every 7 minutes, the human brain is distracted. So every 7 minutes, we have to drill these throughout our presentation. Number 1, we got to get people to raise their hand. Right? Raise your hand if you're ready to do some webinars and get your message out to the world. Let me see your hands. Put them up. Say yes. Awesome. And raise your hands if you really are committed to taking your business next level. Let me see your hands. Put them up. Say yes. Awesome. The next thing you need to do is you need to get them to write this down. You're going to really want to write this down. That's embedded command, by the way. You're going to really want to write this one down. You can write this down now or later. Okay? The next thing you're going to do is get everybody to stand up. Man, I've got a really, really ninja strategy. This one here is amazing. Who wants to know it? Anybody? Never mind, I want to know. That's okay. I'll skip. So forget standing up. Turn to your neighbor. Do you guys want to know this one? Yes. All right, let's do this. I'm going to share with you a technique right now that I guarantee you will put more money in your pocket. Who in this room wants to learn this technique? Yes. All right, here's what I want you to do. I want you to stand up right now, real quick. Everybody stand up and look at your neighbor if they don't stand up. I want everybody to listen to me and watch me very closely. I want everybody to put their hands out here like this. Okay, I'm going to share with you a strategy right now that's going to put more money in your pocket, guaranteed right now. I want everybody to listen to me, watch me. Turn to the right. The other right flows, you got it wrong. Take your right hand, right here. I'm going to show you how to make more money right now. Reach and grab the wallet in front of you, put it in your pocket. Is it okay if we have some fun? Ah, you guys can sit down. I want everybody to turn to their neighbor, give them a high five, and say, you can do this. I want you to turn to your other neighbor and say, you can do this too. All right. So every 7 minutes, you need to be drilling these. Now, do you want me to share with you the secret that I was going to share with you? Let me ask you this question. At the end of your presentation, what are you going to ask them to do? You're going to ask them to do what? Let me see. If I got you to do it once, will you do it again? So every time you do a presentation, you got to get people to stand up and then sit down. You got it, didn't you? Do you even want to know even deeper than that? The mind controls the body, right? Chiropractors and people also know that the body controls the mind. So I want to get inside their minds and their subconscious mind and make the changes. If I controlled your body, did I control the mind? Got it? Okay. All right, let's move on. Expert factor. You need to be the authority. You need to have instant control when you're the expert, instant credibility, and you get instant influence. Now, I got another Jedi strategy. Does anybody know a Jedi strategy? Yes. All right, never mind. I'll skip that. Do you guys want to know a Jedi strategy? Yes. All right, let me give you a cool one. This is how deep this can go. Watch this. Last year, I was speaking in London at the World Speaker Summit. And I get there, I fly all the way overseas to get there. And by the time I got on stage, the audience was like this. They just were not engaged. The promoter did a bad job of keeping the emotional state up. So I took a tool out. I took a what out? Tool. And I said, hey friends, I want everybody to listen to me and watch me very closely. I'm talking about credibility as speakers. I said, credibility is so important because it gives you instant influence and instant power. I said, let me give you an example. I said, if I was speaking on stage talking about wealth, or Warren Buffett was speaking on stage talking about wealth and success, who would you listen to more, right? Warren Buffett, right? I said, what kind of person is he? Come on. Very successful, very powerful, very wealthy, right? I said, you want to make sure that you're the expert, right? And man, did I get him. You want to see what I really did? How many people saw what I really did? Anybody? All the presentator people did. Because we drill this there. I was here, right? Yes. Who was here? What happens when I step into that space? Who did I become? All right, very nice. So let's talk about resistance. One of the biggest things is you need to make sure you know what the resistance is, or the objections. So typically, write this down. You need to mirror match your audience. You need to mirror match your what? Very important. In fact, we don't have a lot of time to talk about it. I'll talk about this tomorrow. Just make a note. I need to talk to you about how to overcome objections and the resistance. Okay? Let's talk about the next one, ROI. I've got a lot to get through, so excuse me if I run through them, because I want to make sure I get to the really good ones. Let's talk about number 6, ROI. Now, people don't want to gamble. When people make a buying decision, let's just ask this question. Because you're offering up them a business decision, right? Offering up a business decision. There's 2 types of people. The successful people never ask how much this is going to cost. They always ask the better question. What's this going to do for me, right? Most people think the other way, right? You tell them about their coaching, the first thing, how much it cost, right? So there's 2 types of individuals. In fact, I'll give you an example. One of my ex-partners, he would focus, I think, the wrong direction. He would take a look at our expenses and say, you know what? This hotel overcharged us $100. Let's call and fight them, get our $100 back. I'm like, okay. By the time I pick up the phone, talk to them, why don't I just pick up the phone, talk to our clients, and sell them a $15,000 coaching program, right? So to me, instead of going backwards, I always think going forward. You follow me on that? So, but people think differently. So just notice, how do you think? So when you make a business decision, what goes through your mind when you make a business decision, right? You typically want an RO what? I. So for me, in our business, we usually like to have a 3-month to 6-month decision. I love to invest in my business, but then I ask the question, we're going to invest $100,000, $50,000 into marketing or training. We invest a lot. But then we ask the question is, in 3 to 6 months, are we going to get an ROI back in 3 to 6 months? And if we do, then we are okay with making that decision. Does everybody follow me on that? Yes. So that's typically, in the customer's, client's mind, they're thinking, well, how is your product going to make me ROI? So if you're selling a product, a coaching or business coaching or something, you've got to show them how, by investing in you, they're going to get a return. Okay? Got that? Okay. So now, here's a great way to do it. How many of you, by a show of hands, would invest $1 to make $2? Let me see your hands. Very nice. How many of you invest, let's just say, $10,000 to make $25,000? Okay, great. How many of you invest, let's just say, $17,500 to make $1 million? Anybody? Absolutely. So business is an ROI game, right? So you've got to let people see that when they invest in your product, that they're going to get their ROI back, typically in 3 to 6 months. Okay, you got that? All right. Now let's talk about number 7, planting seeds. So you want to plant seeds throughout your presentation. And typically, here's an important one. Typically, you want to plant seeds of how people are going to ROI from your product or service. Now, I've got a great strategy I want you to think about. Typically, when you're presenting an offer or a presentation, people are going to have objections, right? Maybe it's typically, I don't have the time, don't have the money, this won't work for, right? In real estate, we used to say, oh, Dave, I would love to buy your real estate system. That doesn't work here. Like, real estate works everywhere, but this one town right here, you can't buy a house. Nope, you can't do it. Right? You hear that all the time. So, these are the resistance, the objections. So now I want to ask you this question. How do you overcome the objections? What's the strategy? Tell me, what do you do? This is one very important. You better know this one. How do you overcome the objections? How?
By putting testimonials and other people in your talk.
Exactly. You're going to put strategically social proof stories that overcome the objections. So, when people would run to my back room and say, Dave, I would love to buy your real estate system, but Dave, I don't have the time to do real estate, right? So I'd find a testimonial that says, hey, Dave, I took your real estate system and did my first deal part-time. Okay, you got that? Then somebody say, well, Dave, I'd love to buy your system, Dave, but I don't have the money to do real estate. So then I find a testimony, hey, Dave, I took your real estate system. I did my first deal, no money down. Right? So write this down. You want to strategically have 7 social proof stories in your presentation that overcome the biggest objections. This is one of the keys to your success. One of the keys to your what? Success. Absolutely. Now, let's talk about Zach Childers. Zach is somebody, and I want you to write this down, the law of momentum. Zach came to me and said, Dave, I want to get to the big leagues fast. So I said, okay, great. So we're going to use the law of momentum. He says, Dave, I want to do a product launch. I want to generate, it was actually $1 million in a week, and I want to get myself to have one of the biggest lists. So we put what they call a product launch together. I wrote his webinar. I wrote his what? Webinar. And I created his offer, and we're going to pre-sell 6 modules of training. Making sense? So we did that, and I got a bunch of people that were in real estate that had lists to promote his webinar. That's basically a product launch. We did the launch. The launch didn't generate $1 million. Unfortunately, some of the people didn't promote. We generated $500,000. Right? Not bad in 5 days. How would you like to make $500,000 in 5 days? Right? But now, he now got paid to create his box. So what I want you to do is take time writing a book, building your box, and then trying to sell it. Let's sell it first and get paid to build it. How many of you like that strategy? Right? Isn't that smarter? So we did that, and then I said, let's keep going. We invited all those people who got the box a boot camp. And then at the boot camp, we offered up a coaching program. And did he have a coaching program? Did we pre-sell it? Absolutely. He sold it, and he made $600,000. Now, how much money did he make in literally a couple months? Would that work for you? Could you see yourself doing this? Absolutely. If he can do it, can you do it? Absolutely. So let's talk about social proof. In your presentation, people buy results. Correct? People buy what? So you want to put testimonials throughout your presentation. Now, who's better to sell? You or your students? What's better? Written testimonial or a video testimonial? Okay, great. Now, what's better than a video testimonial? Right? So let's ask this question. I'm going to do a demonstration. Who in this room has been to our group power day, presentator, or marketing workshops? Let me see your hands. Put them nice and high. Okay. And I want to ask this question. If this impacted your business, helped you make more money, and you believe that would help other people, I want you to raise your hands. Put them up nice and high. And I want you to stand up right now real quick. All right, so these are individuals. You can talk to all of them at any break, and you can ask them about the results that they got. Does everybody follow me on that? Yes. Okay, great. Thank you, guys. You can have a seat now. So now, how easy was that, right? Did I have to put testimonies? So if you're speaking, let's just say you're speaking in California. Could you call one of your top clients and say, hey, I'm speaking in California. Do you want to go to lunch? And we'll take some strategies. And by the way, I'm speaking. You want to come watch me speak? What do you think your student would say? How much does it cost? Right? No, come over. And then while they're speaking, do you think that you can ask them to stand up and tell people how you changed their life? Is that an easy strategy? Would that increase your conversion? Absolutely. So social proof is very important. How many of you like that one? Do you want some more? All right. Now let's talk about number 9, which is the power of the most powerful thing you can do during your presentation. In fact, Steve, you remember this. My presentation, my old Foreclosures Daily presentation, was so scripted out that precisely engineered in my presentation, this is how good I was. I would pick up my glass of water at a certain time to do the power of to draw everybody in. You got that? Yes. Would that work for you? Yes. How many of you are liking that? Do you want more? Yes. Okay, let's talk some. Number 10. Oh, this is really good. Let's talk about the law of exchange. Now, when you give something to somebody, they want to do what? Give back. So, what's interesting is back in the day, I read this book and saw this movie called The Secret. Do you remember that one? Man, I didn't know about this, and it was pretty cool. So for me, I told myself every time that I speak, I'm going to serve and I'm going to give one person that video, that movie, because I believed it would change their life. And I said to myself, no matter if there's 2 people there or 10,000, I was always going to show up and play full out. Correct? So it was funny. I'd go to the airport and I'd pick out The Secret. I'm like, I wonder who's going to get it. I'd make this game because you make it fun, right? So I used to do this thing in my presentation. I said, who in this room has actually seen this secret? Let me see your hands. Put them up. Let me see your hands. Okay. Who in this room has heard about it but hasn't seen it yet? Let me see your hands. Oh, great. I've got this one up here. Who wants it? I'd give it away to somebody because I wanted to give. And it impacted me, so I figured least I can do is impact somebody's life. What's interesting, when I did my close, guess who was the first person in the back of the room? Person I gave the secret, right? Now, I must have given out thousands of secrets because I did so many presentations. What's interesting, I look back on it, the secret cost me $20. My program was $8,000. I should have gave out more secrets, shouldn't I have, right? So can you give out something during your talk or on your webinars? Can we do that? Yes. Will we do that? Yes. Will it increase your sales? Yes. Will we build more value? Yes. Okay. Now let's talk about the law of scarcity. How many of you have kids? Anybody have kids? When there's one cookie left, guess what happens? Right? When there's one house left on the water, what happens? Right? So people go crazy, especially when we go to the auction, right, Steve, and see the foreclosure auction, bidding off houses. They're bidding off houses, scarcity. They actually bid the houses up over retail. It's like, wow, why would you just go to the realtor and buy it less than you bought it here at the auction? Didn't make sense to me. It's because of the law of scarcity. Now, so in our presentations, we can use the law of scarcity. But I want you to use it with honesty and integrity. Honesty and what? I don't want you to say, oh, I've got 10 boxes back there, first 10 people. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Being that, let's talk about scarcity. Do you have a limited time in your schedule? Let me see here. Yes? If you say, I'm going to put aside this much time to do coaching, or obviously you have an event, you only got 100 seats because of the place, you can only say for the first 100 of you that come in are going to come to the next event. Can we do this honestly and with integrity? Correct? So when you do this, use these things correctly. Don't just say 10 boxes in the back and it not be the truth. Can we all commit to doing that? Yes. Okay, good. Now, number 11, which I don't have a lot of time to talk about, which is called time distortion. Man, can you believe this morning went by like that? Isn't that crazy? So these are the 11 presentator technology principles. How many of you like these? Did I build value? So we've got 3 key things. You've got to have a presentation. You're going to have to deliver it. And now you need to get on some stages and marketing. Correct? Can we all do this? Are we going to do this? Are we going to make the world a better place? Now, warning. I wasn't sure if I was going to do this because we are running out of time here. But how many of you would like to know my secrets to forbidden mass persuasion, my NEEP patterns? Who would be interested? Anybody? All right, now, you've got to commit to me. These can be used for the light or for the darkness. What NEEP is, write this down, neuro, emotional, powering, because we're here to empower people, patterns. That's my technology. So let's go over the 11 techniques. These are going to be so Jedi that you're going to be amazed. Now, before I teach this, you've got to commit to me one thing, that you're going to use these to help and serve people and not take advantage of people. How many of you are committed to making sure that you use these for good? Let me see your hands. Put them up. If your hand isn't up, you got to leave. Actually, I want everybody to stand up for a moment. I want all of you to put your right hand up and repeat after me. I commit to use these to empower people, to motivate people, to get them out of fear and into empowerment. Okay, you can sit down. So now, here we go. Nobody on planet Earth knows these, by the way. Why? Because this is a technology I created. Number one, we're going to go over framing. I'm going to go fast. Number two, scotomas. Number three, covert commands. Number four, confusion patterns. Number five, presuppositions. Number six, my favorite, trial closes. Number seven, embedded commands. Number eight, anchoring. And we're going to have to fly, so if you don't get these. Number 9, future pacing. Number 10, repeating your offer. And number 11, my favorite, the if-all statements. So if you see anybody using these techniques, you know where they got them from. Okay, you guys ready? Are you guys ready to hold on? Because I got to go through these, and in fact, if I don't get them today, I'll go over them tomorrow, or at the training, you'll learn them more, okay? So now, let's go over number 1, framing. In fact, I talked a little bit about framing earlier, so let's go ahead and skip that. Framing is basically pre-framing the mind. It's painting the picture of what they're about to experience. Very powerful technique. Number 2, let's talk about scotomas. This is so powerful because what scotoma is basically having people fill in the blank. You will have people hanging on to every. If you model what successful people do, you will become. When you can do your presentations where people finish your, you become powerful. Making sense? Are you guys liking that? Who wants more? You want more? All right, let's do some more. Number 3, covert commands. At the presentator, we will drill these. I break these down and you get up, you get on the stage and you practice these. Just like we did in football, you ran the route so many times that unconsciously you could catch the football without thinking. Number 1, covert commands are basically commands that bypass the subconscious mind. So real quick, we have the mind, and we have what they call the gatekeeper. If I tell you to get up and go to that back table, a command, what can the gatekeeper say? Oh, I'm not going. When you tell your kids to go clean their room and do their homework, what do they say? No. Now, if I show you a way to bypass this, do you think that you'd be a more effective communicator? Yes. So I want you to consider why you want this. Right? You will automatically go to the back of the room at the end of my presentation. Do you feel the difference? So what we're doing is, it's covert commands. So after you come to my 3-day retreat program, so this is what I call non-resistance, where we're bypassing the conscious and going to the subconscious. Okay, let's talk about confusion patterns. These are very powerful. What happens is when you put the mind, and these are used for therapy. So as I was studying to become a therapist, to help people overcome their fears and phobias, the whole time I was learning this, I was speaking twice a day. I kept asking a question, wow, how do I use this in my speaking business? Because people have fears and phobias of making money and becoming successful. Wow, instead of working one-to-one with patients, why don't I work one-to-many? So I started incorporating these in my speaking talks. And what happens is if somebody's in an addiction and they're in a state of confusion or something bad happened to them, we use these techniques to break the pattern to get them out of that state. So confusion patterns break the state so that you can change their state. Are you following me on that? Yes. So write this down. Consider what you're not thinking right now. Remember to forget to remember. You've got to have a scripted presentation. Remember to forget to remember. You've got to have a marketing plan. You got it? This making sense? Would this work for you? Absolutely. So now let's talk about number 5, which is my favorites. If you take anything away from me, you want to learn this, which is presuppositions. Does anybody know what a presupposition is? Presupposition is pre-opposing what you want to happen with no resistance. So, before you spontaneously run to the back of the room and sign up now, I want you to know this is the best investment you've ever made. When you attend our workshop, you will leave with your scripted presentation. When you leave the marketing workshop, you will have your whole marketing done. That's pre-opposing something to happen in their mind. Are you guys getting that? Yes. Are you guys getting it? Yes. Are you guys getting it? Yes. She got it. Trial closes. These are my favorites. This is for us to reframe the brain to get them into a yes state, which is, does this make sense? Are you getting this? How many of you like this? How many of you see yourself being a speaker? Can you see it? Can you feel it? So these are what are called trial closes. So these are a covert way to get him into a yes state. Doug Bench, we had Doug come up here and talk about how this system has changed his life. Embedded commands. How many of you have been seeing me doing embedded commands for the last 2 days? Yes? Presentators. How many of you are looking through a new lens now when you see me speak? Let me see your hands. Isn't it absolutely incredible? At a whole nother level that they're aware of. Now, let's talk about this. I want to stop for a moment. I want everybody to look at me now and listen. Let's talk about anchoring. Let me tell you a little bit about anchoring. So, when I hired these speakers to do my presentation, I knew things worked in my presentation. I wasn't sure why. So, there was a part in my presentation that I did, and I want you to watch me very closely and see if you picked up why it worked. Okay, you ready for this? Let's see if you can get it. I used to say, now let me go back to that moment. I have never, ever, 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 ever seen a better time to get involved in foreclosures. The stars line perfectly to do this business. And Steve's shaking his head, he's laughing. He goes, the guy's like, dude, this star thing that you do in your presentation, man, we don't want to do it. It's foolish, right? I said, no, you got to do the star thing. Watch very closely and see if you get it. I have never, ever, 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 ever seen a better time to get involved in foreclosures. The stars line perfectly to do this business. What was I anchoring down? Did you follow me on that? So you need to anchor down 3 major spots. 1, your product. 2, the back table. And 3, yourself as the expert. Those are the 3 key elements. The less you'll learn at Presentainer. Future pacing, let's skip that for now. And repeating your offer, let's go to number 11, my favorite if-alls. If you take anything away from my talk, by adding the 3 if-alls to your presentation, we'll take your sales to another level. Simple and easy, and it's very powerful. All right, here's what most people do. When they get to the end of their presentation, they say, well, it's $20,000, but today it's only $17,500. What they didn't do is they didn't get people to say yes to the retail, so when they discounted, the people shot. Correct? So we've got to get them to say yes 3 times to retail. Are you following me on that? If you're just nod your head, say yes, Dave. Yes. So here's what we're going to do. Watch. We're going to create 3 if-alls. So here we go. Let me ask you this question. If all this system did for you, our system, is got you on one stage and you delivered one presentation and made $50,000, would it be worth the investment? Yes or yes? Let me see your hands. Play with me. If all this did for you was help you create your webinar so you can automate your business, so you can get more clients, would it be worth the investment? Yes or yes? Let me see your hands. If all this did for you was help you travel the world, get your passion, your purpose out, and have a better life, would it be worth the investment? Yes or yes, right? So what we want to do is get them to say yes 3 times. That when we discount, they shoot to the back. Are you getting that? Okay. Would that work for you? So again, here's the 11 techniques that I had to go over fast because we're just running out of time here. I got so much to give to you. Now, let's ask this question. Now, another great thing you can consider is having a testimonial sizzle reel. This is what I'm going to be using. I'm speaking at Dan Kennedy's in 2 weeks. So I'm going to share with you an example because I'm going behind the scenes. How many of you appreciate, like that I went behind the scenes and showed you everything? Did you like that? Did you learn something? Are you ever going to look the same in a speaker again? No, right? So real quick, let me ask you a question. How many of you would like to have me personally work with you and take your speaking business next level? Let me see your hands. Oh, wow. So let's real quick, let's watch this. Here's some of our clients and what they have to say about Speaking Empire.
Remarkable. Fantastic.
Powerful.
Amazing.
Profound experience.
Exceeded my expectations.
And an amazing experience.
Changes your life.
It was a fabulous day.
This was a mind-blowing day.
An incredible experience.
It's worth it, every penny.
It will change your life.
It was a big investment for us in our business. Totally worth it. We brought in a subpar presentation and we're walking out with a done-for-you presentation that is just absolutely awesome.
Well, I was blown away. From the very first moment, they took something that I had designed myself and within just a few minutes showed me through their actions of breaking down my presentation and showing me the pieces to create the irresistible offer that literally if I would have left at that point in the day, it would have been beyond worth the entire day. And then they kept going.
Been here a couple of days now, really networking around with some of the best guys in the business. And I just highly recommend that you do business with Dave and Dustin.
Having 4 or 5 people sitting around a table working on making your presentation the absolute best it could be. I've never seen it done before, right? Each person with their individual specialty, making sure that their contribution would ratchet up your presentation many notches.
Let me just show you this picture. I don't know if you can see it. That picture, that's what you call a table rush. I had my first table rush using this presentation that I created with Dave and Dustin's system for the very first time.
You can see this large stack right here full of order forms. And this is because of learning the proper way how to structure our presentation as well as how to close. And this is the result.
I did a 5-day product launch and made over $3 million in 5 days.
Anyone can do this, no matter where you're from, no matter where your pedigree is, no matter where you live in the world. You can implement what they teach you, and you can change your life.
If you want to make money from stage, if you want to be a true crafted platform speaker who knows they're going to close consistently, often the right way, moving people, taking action, then you got nowhere else to be but right here.
I know it's a pretty steep investment. Let me just tell you, I made it back in my first engagement, my very first speaking engagement.
This was probably the most productive 12 hours that I've spent on my business ever.
This team really knows what they're doing, they're easy to work with, and they produce results, and that's at the end of the day what this is all about.
I couldn't give them higher praises. They are just so amazing and have changed the game of business for me, and I know that they will do the same for you too.
So let me ask this question. Who wants to be one of my next success stories? Put up and say yes. Wow, that's a lot of you. So would it be okay with you if I shared how I can serve you and help you? Would it be okay with all of you? Yes? Did I build value this morning? Yes? Give me a hand, by the way. All right. So let me ask you this question. Are you committed to your success? Are you committed to your success? Yes. Absolutely. So you've gotten value, obviously. People say, Dave, I spent $100,000 on a speaker coach, and one day he taught me more than he taught me in a year. How many of you maybe feel like that? Say yes? Absolutely. So how many of you might be feeling like this? Right? So I'm going to share with you, really got three choices this morning to really decide. One, you can listen to me and do nothing, and I'm here to share with you, you're not going to get any results. Number two, you can try to figure this all out yourself, try to build the presentation, try to learn Presentainer, try to do the marketing, try to get connected around the world to all the speakers, and spend 10 years doing it. Or number three, you can just have it done for you or done with you. In fact, how many of you like done with you or done for you? Let me see your hands. Yeah, me too. So really I want to talk to you about the three key things we talked about is one, you've got to have a presentation. You've got to have your message crafted. How many of you are committed to getting your message done? Let me see your hands. Absolutely. Number two is I got to teach you Presentainer delivery techniques of how do you deliver your presentation so amazing that people will never forget you. And then after we have those, number three is we got to give you the marketing. Get you on the stages, get you on the webinars so that you can get your message and get clients and serve the world. You follow me on this? Absolutely. So we've got three programs we put together. One is what we call our Group Power Day Workshop, where you come in for 3 days with a small group, with my team, and you build out your complete presentation, your PowerPoint slides, your graphics, your offer. You build what your box is going to be, and you get it done there. You're not allowed to leave until it's done. You follow me on that? And it's very powerful. In fact, I've written over 500 presentations for so many people. I can show you how to write it amazing. Then number two is we got our Presentainer. How many of you love those NEEP patterns? Let me see your hands. How many want to master those? Let me see your hands. How many of you realize when you master those, you can get more in life, increase sales, and you can actually have a better life? Let me see your hands. In fact, I use these techniques to get upgraded to first class. I didn't pay for 7 years at one time a gym membership. They're fun to have fun with them. You can use them, especially for Victoria. I use them all the time on her because I want to make sure that she's a beautiful soul, right? If I tell her to do her homework, she ain't doing it. So that's all right. I use Presentainer. I know how to make her do it, right? So if you have kids, these work great on kids, by the way. And then the third thing we call our Brand Response Academy, which is our marketing academy, where all the marketing, the emails, the copy, the landing, all of that is done, and we give it to you on a platter. How many of you would love to have all your marketing done? Let me see your hands. Absolutely. So when you take these three elements, this is what's going to get you to 7 figures. Who's ready to get to 7 figures? Anybody? Anybody want to get to 8 figures? Why not, right? All right, so let's talk about offer one I have. Offer one is what we call our Group Power Day. This is where, like I said, we sit down with you in a small group, a handful of people, and we start with writing your offer. What is the message in you? How do we create your box? Okay? Then from there, we write your presentation, and you have to deliver it in front of the group so you're ready to go. So if any of you have a stage or a webinar, that night or that day, you'll be ready to do it. Okay? How many of you like that concept, right? Ready to go. Then But before I do this, this isn't for everybody. Meaning, don't run to the back of the room if you're somebody who wants to reinvent the wheel, if you're somebody who's not trying to make the world a better place, or somebody that just isn't ready. Please don't go back, okay? This is for somebody who really wants to make the world a better place, understands that they want to get out there fast, and they want to shortcut 10 years and get out there fast. And it's not for everybody. Okay? So one of the things we also give you is our complete system. In fact, one of the things you get with that program is you get how to be a rock star. We're going to show you how to become the instant authority and really position you in the right way. Who's ready to become a rock star? Anybody? Awesome. Then in addition to that, I'm also going to give you crowd control, persuasion, and influence. In fact, you're going to really want this badly. This right here, crowd control, all the techniques that we talked about, you're going to get in this, which is crowd control. Then, in addition to that, marketing. We're going to give you all the marketing in this box so that you have the marketing done for you. Who in this room would like to have the marketing done for you? Yes? Absolutely. And we're going to show you how to build a profitable speaking business. All our checklists, all our systems, our org board, every single thing in our business we give to you. It's like the McDonald's turnkey franchise. Who in this room would love to earn and love having McDonald's franchise, right? Turnkey easy. That's what we put in there. And at this experience, we're going to give you the PowerPoint template. You're going to get it done, the blueprint, the checklist, everything. Before the group power day, the team, we sit down and do a questionnaire to flush out who you are, what your goals are, to truly help you write that presentation. Then, during there, we're going to craft your irresistible offer. You're going to complete your complete presentation. You're going to mastermind with other very successful people. You're going to present your message before you leave. And we're going to walk you through the complete blueprint, and you're going to get your certified Speaking Empire completion. Who's ready to go to this class? Let me see your hands. Wow, that's a lot of you. All right, and then after that, we continue to work with you and help you with your presentation. The total value of this, obviously, this is a lot of work for us. These are custom presentations. This is like writing a whole copy. It's not easy. So the value of that is over $25,000. But let me ask you this question. If all this did for you is help you get your presentation done, and you did a webinar or honestly spoke on a stage, and you made $50,000 just one talk, would it be worth the investment? Honestly, yes or yes? If all this did for you was help you get your webinar in your box so you stop selling your time and start selling a system, would it be worth the investment? Yes or yes? Absolutely. So today, what we're going to do here today, I spent $85,000 to go to college to make $30,000. What a joke that system was, right? You know, you can buy a franchise for $400,000 and not ROI in 2 years, right? Have a job. We can ROI within 30 days or less. Get your ROI back. How many of you think that system's a better system that we have? Absolutely. So this offer today, offer one, instead of $25,000 today, we're going to do a small, easy investment of $17,500 basically for offer number one. Now, offer number two, but before I talk to you, I'm going to talk to you about Ross Hamilton. Ross came to me and built a software and wanted to have a membership community. He's struggling to get customers, so I wrote his webinar, I automated it, and for the last 4 years, his webinar is spinning and spinning and spinning, and he's made millions of dollars from it. And he, because of it, was on Entrepreneur Magazine as a finalist for Entrepreneur of the Year and raised money with investors, and he's made millions of dollars from the webinar. So you can set it and forget it. How many of you like to set it and forget it, right? Absolutely. So number two is a delivery. This is where is like acting school, where we train you and I teach you. I teach you these different techniques we want to go over, and we drill them. So that way, naturally, you know how to do them. It's so powerful, and this is what I call presentainer. And that is offer two, which at the presentainer, it's like acting school. And you're going to learn how to sell anything to anybody at any time. We're going to talk about body language, and you're going to drill it there. So you know how to use your body language. We're going to talk about You're going to learn about hypnosis and actually going to hypnotize your partner. It's a lot of fun learning hypnosis. In fact, who in this room would love to learn hypnosis? Let me see your hands. How would you like to hypnotize your spouse or your kids? Let me see your hands, right? Well, you'll learn that there. It's very cool. It's very powerful. We're also going to learn the NEEP patterns, the techniques. We're going to drill them. I'm going to show you how to become your authentic self and speak from the heart and get connected. And I'm going to show you how to overcome any fears, and you're going to leave there with Superman confidence. Absolutely. You walk different. Your physiology is different. When you walk out of Presentainer, you are a different person in your whole life forever. It's that powerful, my friends. It is amazing. She's shaking her head. She'll tell you it is that powerful. And you're going to learn about what we call Presentainer state. How do you get into the zone, stop time, and do your presentation? Very powerful stuff. And you're going to get your certificate of Presentainer certification. You're going to become certified as a Presentainer. That's offer number 2. The total value of that one's $12,000. For those of you who would like that one today, it's basically $7,500 for your offer 2. Now, offer 3 is the marketing. This is now writing all the marketing. So this we call our Brand Response Academy. This is a workshop done with you system. You're going to write at the ultimate done for you marketing system. We're going to actually talk to you about direct mail, lead generation, joint venture recruiting, display ads, webinar campaigns, speaker handout. We're going to talk to you about all the techniques. In fact, what's amazing about the marketing workshop Dustin's put together is here's just a sample. All of the marketing that we've done over the last 10 years, let's just say you want to do a webinar. You come to here, it says webinar page 47. All the emails, the landing pages, your whole funnel is done. Just copy it. Let's just say, oh, you need an introduction for your speaker thing. You come here, your introduction script is done. All of your marketing is done. The direct mail, the newspaper ads, every single thing is done. And just copy and employ. How many of you would love to have the complete marketing Bible? Let me see your hands. Absolutely. I've spent over $50,000 on one sales page. That's good marketing. We're going to give you all that marketing. We probably spent $1 million on all the marketing. We're going to give it to you. Very powerful. We're going to go over newspaper ads, stick campaigns. We're going to talk to you about text messaging, order forms, everything you need for your business you're going to get at this event. It's incredible, amazing. So the Brand Response Academy is incredible. We're going to help you identify who your avatar is. We're going to share with you all the techniques so that you can take your business next level. It is awesome. These guys do a great job. There's just so much to go over. I can't even go over all of it. It's very powerful. So, and this, you're going to get all the Rolodex and everything we talked about there. That one there is $20,000. Let me ask you this question. If all this did for you is gave you all the marketing, you didn't have to hire a marketer, pay a sales page. Marketers are very expensive, by the way. They're $20,000 to write a sales page, and we gave it all to you. Would it be worth the investment? Yes or yes? Absolutely. So that one there, it's a small, easy investment of $10,000. So now let me ask you this question. What one do you want? Right? How many of you like to have number 1 offer, which is writing your complete presentation so you're ready? Let me see that. How many was ready for that one? Okay, great. Who wants offer 2, which is the Presentainer, which is where you're going to learn the acting school and the NLP? Who would like to go to that one? Let me see your hands. Okay, great. And how do you like number 3, which is the marketing, where you get all the marketing stuff? How many of you want to do the marketing? Let me see your hands. Wow. Let me ask you this one. How many of you want all 3? Let me see your hands. Anybody want all 3? I agree, right? So which one do you want? So here's what I'm willing to do. For any of you today that would like, here's what I'm willing to do. We have offer 1, which is the group power day. So you can buy them a la carte. Number 2, the Presentainer. Number 3, which is the marketing, brand response. But here's what I'm willing to do. For those of you that are interested in this and want to do this, for the first 5 of you, here's what I'll do. You can buy 1 and get 2 free. That's it. You can buy the 1, which is the group power day, and you're going to get the other 2 free included in this. So for those of you who are considering this right now, you have my permission to go ahead and get up right now and get to that back table. Now, what I'd like to do right now is I just want to take the time. Let's congratulate the smart and successful millionaire speakers in the room. Let's give them a hand. My friends, so everything combined is a $34,000 investment. This is like buying a franchise, my friend. This is a business system. This is taking yourself to the next level. And for those of you that have a mission like I have a mission, this is a no-brainer opportunity, my friends. How many presentations and webinars do you need to do before you get your ROI back? 1. That's it. You don't have to wait 2 years like a franchise. You don't have to wait like I did in college, 5, 10 years before I got my ROI back. So here's what I'm going to do. You can get all of them for $17,500 in full pay today. So here's what I want you to do. For any of you that are still on the fence, you can get my permission to get up right now, and you can talk to the people back there. Now, I'm only going to do the buy one, get two free for the first 5 of you. Okay, now, here's what I believe. When you take action today, you've got 100% money back guaranteed, no questions asked. So when you get up right now and out of your chair, this is a zero risk investment. Meaning, when you come to the group power day, after the second day you say, you know what, this doesn't feel right for me. I don't think that this will work for me. You let me know. 100% money back guarantee, no questions asked. Is that fair? Yes or yes? Absolutely. This is a small community of speakers. I want to make sure Speaking Empire brand is the best in the world. Now, let me ask this question. Are you worth this investment? Is the world worth this investment? So here's what I want you to do. Take action now. Go ahead. Get back there, my friends. But more importantly, who would like a mega bonus? Anybody want a mega bonus? Who in this room wants to get on some more stages and some webinars? Let me see your hands. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw in our promotional get on more stages instant authority promotion package. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you a testimonial to let all the speakers know that you're the top in your industry and to put you on their stage. How many of you would like that one? Would that help you make more money? Yes? And I'm also going to do something else. We have a newsletter that goes out to all the promoters and all the speakers in the world. What if I put you in the spotlight telling all the promoters of who you are and that you have the most incredible message in the world? Would that help you get on more stages? So, and we're also going to do our social media shout outs to let everybody know who you are so that we can get you and your brand and message out to the world. Is that powerful? Yes or yes? This alone is worth the whole price of admission. So for those of you that really want to get your speaking business out, and obviously this isn't for everybody, you have my permission to go ahead, go back and talk to them. And also, I've got another mega bonus. We've got all of these speakers and promoters in our list. Here's what I'm willing to do. You can send a direct mail to all the speakers about your presentation, about your product launch, and you can hit all the speakers in the world to let them know who you are. That's priceless, right? So you can direct mail our database, okay? And when we do these events, we're actually going to bring you up on stage at our event and tell everybody who you are and why you should be on their stage. Who likes that one? Anybody? All right, so that's a mega bonus. So you really got 3 choices. 1, you can buy them a la carte. Some of you might just want to come to one class. Or we did the buy one, get 2 free. But it's your choice of what you would like to do. Now, I always say this. In life, there's a cost if you do it one way or another, right? You can try to figure it out, waste time, spend the hard way, and spend way more money. Or you can do it the easy way. One simple investment in yourself. That's how it works. Are you following me on that? Is that making sense? All right. Let me ask you this question. Who would like to get this whole program for free? Anybody? Oh, let me ask it again. Who in this room would like to get this whole system for free? Let me see your hands. All right, for those of you, let me ask you. How many of you, seriously, would love to get this whole system, have us build out your presentation, teach you, launch your speaking business, get your message out to the world, and get an opportunity to get it for free? Honestly, let me see your hands. Put them up nice now. For those of you with your hands up, I want you to stand up right now. Seriously. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to break for lunch. For those of you, I'm going to go to that back table, and I'm going to share with you of how you can partner with us and invest today and get your program for free. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the back table right now. Come on back here and meet me. This offer is going to end in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 2.5, 2 3/4. Come on, come here. I'll show you how you get this for free. Come on back. All right, I'm going to turn off my mic in 3 seconds. For the rest of you, you guys can break for lunch. For those of you interested in learning how you can partner with Speaking Empire and get this program for free, I'm going to turn off my mic in 3, 2, 1.